Welcome, everybody. I'm so excited you're here with me for another installment of our Women's Empowerment Series. My name is Cindy, you know that, and I'm here with Vesna, and I'm super excited to talk with Vesna about her story. Welcome, Vesna. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. Thank you, Cindy, for inviting me. I am also very excited to share my story.
I'm delighted to hear it. Well, I've heard it before, but I'm delighted to share it with all the other people listening, and I know they're going to be totally inspired by you. So why don't you tell us your story?
So, unfortunately, or fortunately now, I don't know, I was laid off in July last year. So what I'm going to talk about now is just, like how I went through that and how at the end I was able to land really awesome job and how you helped me through whole process. So
So let's
when,
tell everybody here, it was a large corporate layoff, right? Like
yes,
many of our listeners, our watchers are experiencing at this very moment.
yes, exactly. So first, the way that it was done, I know, and I was reading a lot on internet how layoffs are done these days. But at the end, either like someone reach out to you or set up a call, or they just cut off your emails or like your access.
Horrible.
It's always, I don't think for me, there's really no difference. Being without a job and thinking about your family is what really matters. How are we going to pay mortgage? What's going to happen next? And then um, um, the other part that was really, really difficult is that why this happened to me. Did I do something wrong? And especially that I was at that moment, I was in a moment where that specific company actually reached out to me and asked. And the year before that, I was in a different company, so they actually reached out to me and wanted me to join the company and to build a new program that was really, really successful. And that was the last thing that I was expected at that moment, is to be laid off. So after I was being laid off, we were, the whole, like all the people that were laid off from the same company, we were given severance package where I was still with the company for next 2 weeks. And then I had an opportunity to use an unemployment. And I think it's good. It is some kind of, it gives you some kind of letting cushion, but again, still knowing that you are not wanted and that you don't have a job, and then you have to go through the whole process is really, really difficult. The way that I handled is that I let all my emotions, everything that I was afraid of at that moment, just surface. And I don't know, just be, just be aware of all of the bad things that were happening in me. I remember at one point, I was thinking, I need help. There's no way there's a lot of things to do. I need to write my resume. I need to my LinkedIn, to work on my LinkedIn. I need to start applying. How do I do that? And then, so I think I was really good in writing my resume because I very soon I started getting job interviews. But what I noticed with my first job interview was that my interview skills were not good. I didn't have any practice. I didn't know how to start. I didn't know what is that important that I should focus on. So, and then I was not getting a job off. I was not getting an offer. So that's when I started looking, and that's when I found Cindy, and because I just knew that I need someone who's going to support me and someone who's just going to go through whole process and let me know what is working, what is not working, and someone who's going to actually, like be on my side, encourage me, and work with me on my interview skills, because at that moment, that's what I figured that I really needed the most. So like I said, my resume was good, and I was still getting job interviews. And like I said, I reached out to Cindy. We started working together. I really liked your approach. I liked that you
Thank
were
you.
direct. I liked your feedbacks. It really, sometimes when I was thinking that, oh, I think this is good, and I think that I'm good at that, your feedback would start me thinking of a different approach and how to, especially with my interview skills. So that really, really helped. And at what point I was interviewing with one specific company. And it's, again, one of the huge tech companies. And I think in total, when I counted, I had 24 interviews with that specific. I think that's also news for you, Cindy. I know you know that I had a lot of interviews, but there were 24 in total. So, and at one point, I had a meltdown on our session.
On our session, I remember.
Yeah. And and I think you were actually the only person that I could have a meltdown at that moment, because you were with me in this, and I really needed someone who's going to be, with me. I could go cry to my husband. He wouldn't understand. I could go cry to my friends. They wouldn't understand. But you were the only one that you truly understood what I needed at that moment, just to encourage me and to move forward. So I think
I'm so happy to have provided that for you.
Yeah.
And just in case anybody who's listening, it all comes to a happy ending when we get through the story. So let's keep going.
Okay. So I was going to I keep going through the interviews, and again, your feedback was really, really valuable to me. I was able to pull myself together. Again, it's kind of like part of my nature that I understand myself, and I know when I have difficulties that all I need to do is just wait a couple of days and and then everything's going to be good. So that's what I did. And then I went through, so the interview with that big company didn't end well, because the big company at the end, they actually gave me a verbal offer, but they went into the hiring freeze day after. So that didn't work out for me at the end. But then I applied for a different company, and I got a job that I really, really like now, and I really enjoy it. I really enjoy the company. I enjoy the people that I work with. And I enjoy the work that I'll be doing. So, everything looks good now, like 6 months after layoff. Now that I have a job that I really like, everything looks good.
That's awesome. Yeah, it was tough going through it, right? It was tough going through the whole, why did this happen to me? And why was I one of them? And what part did I play in this, when it was probably no part that you played in that? And then all the stress of going through 24 interviews at that major company, which has done significant layoffs since then. So you're much better off. Right? And going through, and then it was a lot of interviews to get the position that you landed now. How many interviews was this one? Do you remember?
Yes. So I had 8 interviews for this position. So for me, it was really, really important to focus, to understand what I need to do, what are the steps that I need to do to get a job. So, and I kind of laid out those steps for me. So the number 1 was to get a good resume. Number 2, sharpen your interview skills. Number 3, have support. I had a good resume. I found Cindy as my support, and she really helped me with that interview skills. And I think that was, for me, that was a winning combination. Also, just going through the whole experience, I think at the end made me, I would say, tougher, but I don't ever want to go through that again. And I know everything, like there were a lot of steps that I needed to be aware that I need to do so to be in a place where I am today.
How did I help you with? Which steps did I help you with? How did I help you get there?
I think for me, honestly, Cindy, I think just, like being there as a support, just knowing that I have a support, just knowing that you will be able to answer my questions. I think for me, that was the most important, because when
Honestly
people,
and directly, right? Not
yeah,
always the words you wanted to hear. Sometimes it was things that
exactly.
you didn't want to hear, and we went through them, and some of
Right.
them
But
were
I want
pretty
to say one more
eye-opening, right?
thing. I want to say one more thing that I think that it's really important. When we are looking for a job, we are, and especially when we are being laid off, we are forcibly removed from a situation where we have a lot of partners and co-workers to a situations where we don't have anyone. So suddenly from like 20 meetings a
Mm,
day, I don't have any meetings. I
wow.
am completely alone in whole process. I think that's really, really
Wow.
hard to
Yeah.
adjust.
Yes.
And having someone who's going to go through you, or I mean, who's going to go through me, through what's happening now with me, and go with me through this process, for me, that was the most valuable. And then once we started working on if you remember, sometimes I wouldn't even focus on interview skills, or I just wanted to talk with someone and just go, just have a support. But then when we went into like all the interview mockups and all of that, I think especially like this company that I interviewed, they have a very, very specific way of interviewing, and
Yep.
really helped me that you knew the way that they are doing that you know their process. So you could like really help me with the right questions and right interview questions, and point me out what I was not doing well, so I can go back and try to do that better. So yeah, I think that's what was really, really important to me.
Well, thank you. You touched upon a really important part that people gloss over. You used to have so many people that you were connected with, so many meetings, and then you lose a job and you're all alone.
Yeah.
You're by yourself, and then
Yeah.
you look at the thousands and thousands of other people who have also lost a job at the same company, and you're like, well, how am I going to find a job? There's so many of us looking for
Oh,
jobs.
yeah. What I wanted to say is I think the work you do is really important for a lot of people that, especially being laid off, but not just being laid off. I know you're focusing on people that transition careers, but also for anyone who's looking for a job. Um, if you can find a way to scale it, let me know.
There's
I won't
only
even,
one of me. I would love to scale it, but everybody gets the one-on-one with me, so it's hard
yeah.
to scale.
But I think if more people would be aware of like of this kind of work, I think it would help more in their job search. And like I mentioned before, I think it's really, really important not to be alone through this process, because even though sometimes we think that we can do everything, but by ourselves, um, I think it's way easier if you have a support.
Thank you. It definitely is. It definitely is. So
Thank you,
happy to
Vesna.
support you. It's so
Yeah,
much fun with us working together.